I'll do my best to answer them. But this is going to be a fun race to watch. I'm really excited.
Attention all units. Suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the suspect.
Yeah, we should be getting things underway momentarily. Oh, I am so sorry. So Shiba K actually successfully making the city escape skip, in which you clip through the level geometry and go entirely through the stage. There's a lot going on. I'm so sorry about this. But Shiba K going right into the truck section, which is mostly used to... the main goal of the truck section is to stick to the ground as much as possible and lose as little speed as possible. Tommy now following suit behind. Sonic stages, as you can see, are a lot of getting from point A to point B as fast as possible using spin dashes, somersaults, and grinding, along with just Sonic's natural running speed. Now that we're finished up with City Escape, we're going to be coming into the first boss battle, as Sonic anyway, and this one uses somersaulting a lot more than the previous level. So the main strategy employed by runners to take down this boss is somersaulting onto the front box, and then using that box to jump and hit Bigfoot in the cockpit of their, I guess, fighter robot. As you can see, Shiba K is just handling this expertly. Easy peasy. Shiba K makes quick work of Bigfoot and does a fun little spin dash in a circle. TommyeAsy attempting the same strat, unfortunately can't quite get onto the box. It's definitely faster to just reset. Shiba K starting Wild Canyon, the first RNG stage of the game, of which there are 5. This stage involves traveling around the map as fast as possible to get emerald pieces that are scattered along the map that you're on. Knuckles has the ability to jump, glide, and drill dive. Drill diving gets you down very quickly, and gliding maintains your height, as well as giving you far more distance. And what you'll see the runners do is grab one hint monitor, or those TVs that tells them words, and they'll be able to quickly find out where the emerald piece they're looking for is. Tommy actually grabbing a free piece, which is going to do a lot of work in getting him closer to where Shiba K is. Shiba K starting the first boss fight as Tails, which is essentially hold forward a little bit and spam the action button, B or X, depending on your preference. But yeah, Shiba K is going to be making quick work of Eggman 1. Yeah, Knuckles stages are pretty much RNG, but execution is pretty intense. RNG doesn't matter if your execution's not there, and Tommy is showing us what Wild Canyon can look like with good enough RNG and good enough execution. Now, Tails stages are a little bit more complicated than Sonic stages. They still involve you going from point A to point B, but Tails moves a lot more clunkily. You have to do a lot more speed and momentum continuation in order to keep yourself from being incredibly slow as you move through this level. A common tactic you'll see are racers jumping around corners instead of just turning, because turning loses a lot of your speed, while jumping around corners just kind of turns you forward and loses a lot less. Now, Tommy doing the first gate hop. Shiba K actually coming up very close to the second one. A lot of the stage is really just using Tails' homing shot and Vulcan cannon. Tommy whistling up the elevator. Always a pleasure. But yes, Tails has a homing shot and a Vulcan cannon. The homing shot is the little crosshair and reticle you'll see on your screen when he locks onto an enemy, usually accompanied by a number. And the Vulcan cannon are the little beams that just come out of the front of Tails whenever he presses the action button. Shiba K coming up on the second gate hop, and he nails it. Very well done by Shiba K, and we are coming up to the end of this Tails stage. And yes, Tommy does have some custom music running. Each runners like to personalize their music in different ways. It's a fun little way to differentiate who's running. Make the game your own, personalize it. Shiba K is now going into Metal Harbor, the second Sonic stage, this one making use of loop skips. Loop skips are basically, the game likes to put you in a little bit of a cutscene and force you to watch yourself run up a loop. But Shiba K instead will be opting to just jump around the sound, or jump around the cutscene triggers for the loops, and just skip doing them entirely. Here's the first loop skip. He pulls it off with ease. He also skips the boost ramp, and does not have to worry about taking a slower path. Shiba K doing an excellent pulley skip, which skips another cutscene of Sonic holding a pulley and slowly rising up, combining it with an underloop to not have to interact with the loop at all. Now Shiba K is going to be doing the missile skip, in which you spin dash jump off of a angled platform on the bottom, and basically use that to skip running around the missile and slowly ascending. Yeah, Shiba K is coming up on the end of the stage as Tommy throws Omochao out of the way and goes for the missile skip of his own. Yes. And he gets it. Shiba K doing a little loop skip at the end. Pretty solid Metal Harbor from Shiba K. 121 is solid. Now, speaking of Faker, we are coming into the second Sonic boss fight, the fight with Shadow 1. This fight has an infamous cutscene, which you're going to hear in Japanese, so nobody's going to be cut off. Wow, that is an actually uncomfortably long pause in the dialogue. I had no idea. But Shiba K is going to be employing a tactic known as storage, in which you abuse the fact that spin dash and somersault are on the same button in this game for no discernible reason. And basically what happens is, by holding the somersault button, the game isn't sure whether or not you're going to somersault or spin dash. And so it changes your height to be as if you're somersaulting, and changes, activates hitboxes that you would have upon somersaulting, but does not update your animation, so Shadow does not know that you have those hitboxes out. Because of this, you can just walk into Shadow and make him take damage. Green Forest is a very technically demanding stage, especially the way that Shiba K is going to be playing it. I saw him practicing wall runs before this race started, so hopefully we're going to be seeing a crazy trick. Shibake also making use of the light shoes that were picked up in the last level, which will let you light dash across trails of rings to cover gaps you normally would not be able to, and just make quicker work of paths of rings that are along the ground, as light dashing is the fastest way of movement. Now, as you remember from the last Sonic stage, we did loop skips to skip loop cutscenes. Shibake doing a loop skip right here, but you are also going to be seeing a different cutscene skip in which you skip watching a bungee cutscene, but that will be a little bit later. Unfortunately, though, there are some cutscenes that cannot be skipped, like the one where Sonic takes a vine up and around a tree. Oh, Shibake lines up for the tree wall run. Oh, unfortunately does not get it, but turns it into a modified loop skip, and the light dash takes him off the platform. Very unfortunate. Excellent opportunity for Tommy to make up ground. Although I'm not sure if Tommy's going to be going for a wall run. That is an incredibly difficult and demanding skip. You really cannot expect it out of anybody in a race or marathon setting. Shibake now going for bungee skip, in which you skip running around a tree and employing a cutscene where a bungee vine takes you down and back up. Skipping it by just going completely right around and doing a loop skip right there at the end. We are very close to the end of the stage. And Shibake finishes the stage with a 145. Very solid. Tommy completing a bungee skip of his own, going into the last loop skip of the stage. Very nicely done.
No problem.
And Tommy is going around the last vine to finish the stage very quickly behind Shibake, getting a 139. Solid, solid. Shibake coming into Pumpkin Hill, the second RNG stage of this run, which actually the RNG stages are Tommy's strong suit. He has excellent execution in them, so we may see even more time made up from last time. Shibake doing a little bit of a dialogue cancel by activating a hint while obtaining the Shovel Claw ability that lets Knuckles dig into the stage. But although sometimes it does employ a glitch where it cancels the music of the stage, but Shibake getting two pretty solid pieces, and unfortunately missing the dig. Digging for some pieces can be pretty, I guess, nondescript in where your piece actually is. But Shibake making quick work of Pumpkin Hill, a 43. Very well done. TommyeAsy going up into his second piece. Pumpkin Hill is probably one of the stages with the least free pieces. It's separated into Pumpkin Mountain, Church Mountain, and Ghost Train Mountain, and normally there are actually never a situation where there are three pieces on the same mountain. So you're going to be traveling a lot. Shibake coming into the next tail stage, having an interesting car glitch. I don't think I've seen that before. Mission Street. Mission Street is a very interesting stage. It's one of the most cycle-based stages in the run. And it is also the first opportunity of the booster power-up, in which Tails can hover. This is a very exploitable power-up because the game did not intend for you to know that the quicker you press A after jumping, you gain way more height. This can actually be abused with the pause mechanic, in which you jump, pause, and hover, and that tricks the game into thinking that you are hovering way earlier than you are, and it gives you as much height as possible. Shibake is also going to be using a pause hover to get over that set of gates. Normally you would have to use a missile to break them and advance past. This is an excellent stage for showing off one of Tails' most interesting mechanics. Now Shibake is going to be going for the weight hop. Very solidly done. It is possible to miss that. Sometimes the weights just decide they do not want to behave, and Shibake does make the zero cycle. Very well done. Zero Cycle is called Zero Cycle because it was thought to be unmakeable, and the fastest cycle was 1 cycle. But it was found out that if you move well enough, you can make the cycle before 1 cycle, and it was called Zero Cycle. Tommy, unfortunately, not having the weights play nice with them. They are very difficult to interact with properly. They can be a real hassle. Shibake coming up to the end of the stage. Tommy catching a half cycle where it's faster to just take the normal elevators up. It is only faster to take the back elevator if you are on a full cycle. And yeah, Tommy showing off an excellent opportunity to just cut off a giant turn using hovering far higher than you're supposed to. Shibake coming up on Aquatic Mine, the third knuckle stage. An interesting thing about Aquatic Mine is that in the opening cutscene, you might think it's a waste of time, but it's an excellent opportunity to see if there are any free pieces, and Shibake getting the best first piece in the stage. He goes upstairs to check for a bunch more free pieces. Guardian of the Switch. There's another one that rotates around the beginning, or the entrance to there. And he gets his second piece in Ghost Room. His third piece, I actually do not know the Japanese hints, so I cannot tell you where they are. But despite the fact that he didn't get any free pieces, this is looking like it's going to be a pretty solid Aquatic Mine from Shibake. Oh, he gets Stair-Shaped Brick Room. So you watched him clip out of bounds because actually going down to Stair-Shaped Brick Room and swimming through there takes way too long. A 39-17 is pretty solid. Tommy also checking for Guardian of the Switch. Picking up his first piece, wall running up using the sign geometry. And does it again! Incredible. Spiral uppering for a container on the shelf, and Tommy's going to be finishing up with his Aquatic Mine shortly as well, unfortunately also getting Stair-Shaped Brick Room. Shibake is now into Route 101, the first and only car stage of this run. This stage is basically abused by the drifting mechanic. Normally, when you're moving straight forward, you have a speed cap, which only lets you move at a certain maximum speed, but you can use a boost to go faster than that for a short amount of time. That speed cap is also probably supposed to be there for drifting, but definitely not. So you can use you can use drifting to maintain top boost speed. Basically, the point of this run is using boost as soon as you go up an incline, because inclines kill your speed. And a lot of the stage is using a specific ring route so that you always have a boost after going up an incline that's not followed by a decline. As you can see, Shibake coming up to the next incline and immediately boosting. This ring route is rather specific. There are a lot of backups if you mess it up, but it's just way better to actually get the proper ring route. And if you're wondering why you see Shibake and Tommy both kind of going back and forth instead of just driving straight forward, it is required to stay moving like that if you want to maintain the drift state, and maintaining the drift state maintains the drift speed. In general, a good time for this stage would be 2:20 or under. I don't believe that'll be too much of a problem for either of these runners today. Shibake getting the balloon to get the last boost. The last boost here is the most important because this is the longest stretch of land without a decline. So if you are not going at top boost speed, you are going to be missing out on a lot of time. Shibake with an excellent, I believe that was a 2:14. Very well done. 2:14 is an incredibly solid time for Route 101. Now, immediately following Route 41 is a very technical tails stage. Some would argue it's the most difficult tails stage in the game, Hidden Base. It also kind of starts off the pyramid and desert section of this run. A lot of this stage is using hovers and pause hovers to skip way more of the level than you're supposed to. Tommy finishing up Route 101 as well, getting... Oh, Shibake going right into GC skip. GC skip is called GC skip because it is much easier to do on GameCube rather than PC, and Shibake taking a death there is very good for Tommy. This is a very difficult skip, much easier on GameCube because some walls certainly don't exist. But on PC, they have been patched in to exist. Because of this, you have to take a modified route, and Shibake not confident in their second alignment for GC skip. I cannot even fully blame him for that. This is a very difficult skip, and messing it up is a very costly mistake. Tommy opting not to go for it, very respectable. Instead opting to go for Axle Jump, which cuts off its own little chunk of the stage, making up some of the ground that he is behind on Shibake. Shibake going to be using a pause hover, or a normal hover. Wow, completely forgoing the pause. I guess this is a little bit safer. You can pause hover and make it directly on top, but it's not very much of a time loss at all to go for the normal hover up there. Tommy getting the pause hover I just mentioned, very close behind the Shibake. Shibake using hovers to get over barriers you're normally supposed to break with the Vulcan Cannon. Using a bit of an early movement there so that he doesn't have to wait for the camera to slowly pan around tails. Very well done. And Shibake is going to be showing more walls that don't exist in a moment. The double pause hover there is very important. Also getting enough speed is important to skip going around that corner, as there are 3 barriers in a row that you need to break if you are taking that normally. And Shibake going to be finishing Hidden Base in 1:55. Tommy going to be making up some time, I believe, on top of the time that he made up from Shibake's death. Yeah, Tommy making up an extra 5 seconds. Incredible. Shibake is going into one of the most technical Sonic stages, Pyramid Cave. I like to say it's one of the most technical because of the sheer amount of things that you can do to speed yourself. Last time. Very able due to a problem which I was used to get you're supposed to out. Sorry about that, we should be back. Shibake now going for the snake skip, and he gets it first try. That can be incredibly difficult. Yeah, these racers are neck and neck, as Tommy going for a snake skip of his own. This is incredibly demanding, and it's excellent to see both of them make it. Tommy unfortunately getting hit by that E102. And Shibake finishing the stage very close. Tommy unfortunately having to go for a loop skip there instead of the entire skip at the end, and these racers finish with very similar final pyramid cave times. This race is even. Death Chamber is the most difficult Knuckles stage, bar none. As you can see, Shibake is instantly employing a clip out of bounds. This is because this stage is so sprawled out and has such a wide spread of pieces. This stage is also lives up to its namesake by employing several death strats. Shibake is actually opting not to grab the hammer gloves, which is very surprising, as that is a power-up. Oh, he finally does end up going to grab them, but he gets his first two pieces without them, which is a very interesting choice. Although Tommy is going to be trying his absolute hardest to make up ground, but it can be pretty difficult with Shibake getting RNG as good as he did and not messing up any of the execution. Yeah, a 47 on Death Chamber is very good. Tommy now going for his final piece, hoping to finish not far behind. And Shibake is going into King Boom Boo. This boss is no doubt notorious if you played the game casually. It can be very difficult. Basically, the point of this boss is you have to hit him as many times as you can with the lights on. You turn the lights on by punching his friend that's holding a switch to open the lights. And if you've played this game casually, there's an excellent chance that it's taken you 5 or 6 times to turn the lights on before you can actually get King Boom Boo. But you're going to be seeing both of these runners attacking and defeating this boss in one cycle. As you can see, Shibake is continuing to run alongside King Boom Boo, and we are going to get a very well executed one cycle from Shibake. TommyeAsy turning the lights on for himself. We're going to see how this goes for him. Shibake now going into an very difficult boss, especially if you're on tilt, Egg Golem. Egg Golem uses the super bounce technique, which is used by exploiting the way the bounce bracelet transfers momentum against a wall. But if you miss a super bounce or two, you can be rather behind on this boss. The super bounces are very demanding, but very time-saving. Unfortunately, Shibake having a bit of trouble. This is a very, very difficult technique. I'm impressed that as many super bounces were gotten in a row as they were, because it did not appear that Shibake was practicing them on stream beforehand. Lots of time to get a little bit rusty, especially with such a demanding strat. And Shibake actually does get an extra hit just for swag, to show that he can and to show that he's capable. Well done by Shibake, and it looks like Tommy's going to use this opportunity to make up even more ground as we get into the final tail stage, Eternal Engine. Eternal Engine is a notable tail stage. Many Sonic runners would argue that it's not as difficult as Hidden Base because of how much less of the stage you actually have to play. There is going to be a skip later, but until then, the level is going to be comprised of hopping into the little crevices that the door opens up first, because the doors do not open very quickly. But yes, so Shibake not getting the floor knocked out from under him. Sometimes when you kill that enemy, the dynamite packs attached to the sides of the rails explode as well, and that can be a little bit inconveniencing. Shibake getting the pause hover onto that platform so that he does not have to wait for it to walk all the way back over to him. breaking the bomb so that he can hover over to the switch and not have the weight fall on him. Well done, well done. 105 check, going into the area immediately before Eternal Engine skip. Now, Eternal Engine skip is done by clipping out of the level and hovering to where the end goal ring is. Shiba K lines up. The opening of the door is crucial to the clip out, and Shiba K does not get it first try, unfortunately. This is a very difficult skip. A lot of runners have their own different setups for it, and Shiba K does get the second try clip out. Tommy hoping for a first try clip out, and he doesn't get it, unfortunately. Again, this is a very difficult skip when you're on tilt, so any little bit of nerves can really affect your alignment. Shiba K going for a bit of music sync with the Eternal Engine song. Yeah, I'd actually not seen Shiba K's setup for Eternal Engine either, so very interesting. But yes, basically the reason this skip works is because the end of the stage is falling through a long tube, and oh no, Shiba K barely missing the goal ring height. But yes, the reason this skip works is because the end of the stage is falling down a long tube and breaking a machine that contains the goal ring. Shiba K gets the clip out very easily. It doesn't even look like the door opens for him. Incredible. Shiba K firing rockets. I can only imagine the frustration that would come from that. Skip is not to be taken for granted. And TommyeAsy is getting into the last Knuckles stage. This is not as difficult as Death Chamber because the pieces are a lot closer together and no death strats are required, nor clip outs. But there are a couple pieces that if you do get them, you're losing a pretty solid amount of time. Tommy getting a pretty solid first two pieces. We're going to see where the last piece ends up for him. Digging while watching the moon. Tommy is very close to that piece and a very well done meteor herd. Tommy is done before Shiba K even enters, truly showing his strongest point, his Knuckles gameplay. But yes, Tommy is going to start the first boss fight and only boss fight against Rouge. But yeah, so basically this boss fight is done by hovering or gliding over to where Rouge's starting position is, and then spamming jump and drill dive so that you have as many hitboxes out as possible, and Rouge does not get the opportunity to attack you or not get hit by you, basically. Shiba K finishing his own meteor herd of 45 is rather solid. Tommy coming up into Crazy Gadget, which is one of the more broken stages in this game, I would say, just by the sheer amount of skips and ways you can skip parts of the stage. You're going to see a super bounce so that Tommy does not have to get the next gravity trigger, and he breaks the glass on the tube first try. Very well done. And yeah, basically this level is a lot of play with gravity and an unfortunate death as Tommy tries to super bounce on, or not super bounce, bounce onto the rail. And we're going to see whether Tommy is going for Crazy Gadget skip or Crazy Gadget skip. It's looking like he's going for the latter. It's Crazy Gadget skip, more difficult but saves more time, and if he does not make it, then Shiba K has ground to make up. Shiba K now starting into a Crazy Gadget of his own. hoping to make up the ground that he has lost against Tommy, but it looks like Tommy has gotten a good clip out on his second attempt at CGSS. Let's see if his angle is good. Also, Tommy actually made special care to make sure the checkpoint triggered. He took the area around the checkpoint a little slow, and that is completely understandable. That checkpoint does not trigger sometimes if you don't go for it. Shibake going for a crazy gadget skip of his own. A little bit of an interesting setup, actually. Oh, that's unfortunate. I had no idea you could even line up on that black box for it. Tommy is now going into Eggman 2, a very difficult fight if you do not do the AI manip, but the guide for the AI manip has been written and uploaded by Tommy himself. So we should be seeing a pretty well done Eggman 2 from him. Unfortunately, he does not get the exact strategy that he employs, but it looks like the strategy he's going for will pan out rather nicely for him as he gets a 20-second Eggman 2, and Shibake finishing up Crazy Gadget right for him. It's called Crazy Gadget Skip because Crazy Gadget skips a lot of the level, and Crazy Gadget skips even more. You can tell which one players are going for based on whether or not they kill the artificial chaos that's hanging around in the middle of the stage. Tommy going into Final Rush. We're going to see a Final Rush skip from Tommy. He lines up on the rail and bounces off of the rail. Tommy going for the bounce variant of this trick. There is also a bounceless variant, but it's really up to... Oh, unfortunate. Eggman's AI can be incredibly unfair based on what he decides he wants to do. If you don't get that AI manip, he can be a real killer. He shoots faster than you, and he aims way better than he should be able to. But Shibake is going for the second attempt on Eggman 2, and the bomb exploding looks like it should kill Eggman. Oh, it's a little bit high, but he is able to kill Eggman all the same. Tommy, about at the point where the level textures for Final Rush should be loading back in. And we're going to see how good his alignment is. A weird camera glitch from Tommy. I'm not exactly sure what caused that, but he does make a first try Final Rush skip. Very well done. Also, Tommy is avoiding death planes in order to skip having to go through a very long stage. You're going to see Shibake doing a very similar thing, in which they fall very far to the right in order to loop around a death plane and go into the goal ring, skipping the entire level instead of having to go through a mess of grind rails and other things. Tommy going for the final boss of this game, trying to get the quick kill, but it can be a little bit annoying to get. I was unaware you could get a hit on Shadow by spamming bounce like that. Interesting. And Tommy finishing Shadow in a way I was unaware that you could, getting a very solid 1879. Shibake unfortunately missing the bounce onto that rail. Oh. And Shibake lining up for the next attempt at Final Rush skip. Again, this skip is very unforgiving. If you are not properly aligned, there is an excellent opportunity for the game to make up ground that you are trying to make on it. Shibake looking about to turn. The homing attack should be coming soon. Wow, Shibake actually not opting the homing attack at all. I've never seen this before, actually. I've never seen this at all. Shibake is pulling out so many surprises. I cannot believe some of the stuff that I'm just learning was possible by watching him play. The level collision is coming right back in. This alignment does look promising. Yeah, Shibake is actually going to bounce directly into the goal ring. I've never seen that before. But well done by Shibake. Coming into the final cutscene, Shibake is going to be doing his own quick kill on Shadow himself.
No problem.
And we're going to see the, quite honestly, like, surprising conclusion to this race. With absolutely no disrespect to Tommy, I believe Shibake was the favorite to win this race. So it was really cool to see this upset. Shibake doing a very, very well executed shadow fight. I don't think I've actually ever seen one as good as that one. That was incredible. A 16-second shadow fight is better than a lot of people I know's golds. Very well played from both players. I'm incredibly impressed by the play that I've seen. Wow. Incredible. Well, thank you very much for joining me this morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on what part of the world you're from. Good game to both racers. This was very well executed. I'm actually floored. Wow. What a race. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning into Speed Gaming this morning. And I hope you tune into more Sonic Adventure 2 battle races on Speed Gaming later on in the week. If you're interested in learning this game at all, there are several pages that you can look through on speedrun.com. There's also a Discord that you can join to ask more questions about it, and there are lots of people that are willing to help new runners. I myself only started running this game last month, so it's very easy to get into. Yeah, this game is definitely a lot about going fast, but there are so many individual ways to go fast on each stage. It's pretty insane. This game is incredibly deep. I believe we have another Sonic Adventure 2 race happening very soon, actually. And by very soon, I mean in about 15 minutes, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on commentary for that one as well, but I hadn't noticed that Tommy was repeatedly drilling into the neck of that Pharaoh. That's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Knuckles is repeatedly drill diving into a section that either he is unable to drill into, or I'm actually not sure what's causing him to repeatedly drill like that. Interesting. Speaking of things I've never seen before. But yeah, make no mistake, this was an excellently done race by both players. I can't believe that. That's ridiculous. The world record for this game is 34 minutes. 34:39 by Dage4. Knuckles is having a time. Tommy deciding to show off some Chow karate. Let's see some PogChamps in the chat if you want Tree to win. I think this could be a very difficult match for Tree. Chow Sky is a very difficult opponent. Tree running low on Zeal. Tommy's gonna have to start spamming the A button if he wants his Chow to not fall asleep. And it does! Chowski going in for the kick. Tree running low on Zeal again. Chowski having a bit of a temper tantrum on the field. Let's see if Tree can wake up before Chowski stops crying. This is going to be a difficult match to be sure. Definitely an uphill battle. Sleeping versus crying. Who's going to win? Chowski, whichever. Looks like they are ready to fight. Staring down Tree. Waiting for Tree to wake up, but it looks like it's not happening anytime soon. Chowski going for the punch right in Tree's face. Both of them staring each other down. We may have a match on our hands, folks. Tree going for the straight up punch. Absolutely no holds barred. The time is running low. It looks like Tree is going to time out his opponent. Ooh. And an excellent win from Tree. Let's see how far Tree can advance in this Chow Karate bracket. Next up, in this single elimination bracket, we have Tree against Chow Lin. This could be a difficult fight. Chow Lin is very likely to have at least one stat in anything. Tree with absolutely zero stats and only a name. Chow Lin going for the first punch, an excellent blow, but Tree going right back, and ooh, Chow Lin has so much defense. This is going to be a difficult match for Tree if he can't ring out Chow Lin. And Chow Lin goes for the kick to the face. Tree running low on Zeal. Oh, Tree might be falling asleep in this match. And Chow Lin is exactly going to take advantage of that opening. But he falls asleep as well. Unbelievable. Let's see if Tree can wake up in time to take advantage of Chow Lin's nap on the field. Tree staring his opponent down. Going for the punch to the face. Tree not as quite as much damage on Chow Lin's bar as Chow Lin has on his. But let's see. There are still 30 seconds left in this match. Chow Lin for the punch. Tree's low. Tree's very low, but looks to be going directly back for the kick to the face. Unbelievable. Oh no, Tree's falling asleep again. The zeal. Tree living on the magic pixel, but he's crying and out of zeal. Tree does not look like he's going to be able to make up this deficit before Chow Lin beats him in the timeout. Both of them crying in each other's faces as the match ends. Tree is out at 1-1. Rather unfortunate. It certainly did try. When are we having Chow Karate race brackets? I would actually love to see that. No winner interview? We could have a winner interview. If Tommy wants to get in call, we could have a winner interview. I actually had not even considered that. That is definitely possible. Actually, no, I'm not. I do not believe that we can have participants join the race channels in this Discord, unfortunately. Also, up next on Speed Gaming, we are going to have Super Mario Sunshine continuing, along with a Rockman 2 race starting at 11, and another Sonic Adventure 2 battle race also starting at 11. Chow for the next 80 hours would be very enticing. I'm not actually sure which Chow this is. Oh, geez. Ooh, damn. What a kick. Oh, wow. This nameless Chow is destroying his bracket. I can't believe that double kick ring out happened so quickly. Nameless Chow taking on Crystal the Angel Chow. Nameless going for the kick again. Unbelievable. Oh, Crystal going in for the kick in response. Another ring out. Crystal losing almost all of their health. Nameless Chow going up against Angel. Also, yes, a very important PSA from Modified Monkey. The plural of Chow is Chow. And another ring out. This Nameless Chow making quick work of the super bracket. The last Chow is very difficult, though. It can be major time loss. Flash, notoriously difficult. We're going to see if this maxed out Chow can beat Flash. Look at how much defense Flash has. Oh, and a ring out. Nameless Chow makes quick work of Flash. Unbelievable. Nameless Chow is the grand champion of Chow Karate. Chow Karate might not be able to kill a run during 180, but it is definitely possible to lose 2 or 3 minutes to it. Tommy now going to be showing us some Chow races. Nameless Chow going to be showing off how good they are at an interesting challenge race. Tommy's Nameless Chow making quick work of that climb up wall. Going on to the tree section, he's going to need to shake down a tree and eat the fruit. Very difficult execution heavy part for the Chow. There goes the fruit. He makes quick work of that fruit. That fruit has never been eaten so fast in its life. Following the arrows of the Omo Chow, falling on the ground. This could be a huge time loss. The other Chow racing behind is looking to make up time anywhere that they can as we go into the swimming section. That waterfall can drag you down if you're not a powerful enough swimmer, but Tommy's Nameless Chow shows absolutely zero issue with that. We're starting to enter the cave section. The cave section normally accompanied by a puzzle. This one is asking for you to grab the square fruit. There are a lot of Sonic dolls and other fruit on the field, but it looks like Tommy's Nameless Chow is going to go right into grabbing the correct fruit. A very intelligent Chow, taking very little time to find out which fruit is the correct fruit and how to get there as fast as possible. As you can see, the circle indicates that he did bring the correct fruit as he runs through the very scenic inner cave flower and waterfall section. Tommy's Nameless Chow absolutely destroying the quote-unquote challenge of this challenge race. Running into the last swimming section, this one is not accompanied by a waterfall, but it is still long and difficult if you are not an excellent swimmer, as Tommy's Nameless Chow happens to be. There is one last section following the swimming section. Not even taking a moment to make sure he understands what the Omo Chow are pointing at. Running a bit low on stamina as he comes into the rainbow section. There could be some pitfalls. Oh, purple one has multiple pitfalls, but it doesn't! Tommy's Nameless Chow finishing very far ahead of the other Chow. Now, a reminder, if you would like to keep up with the Sonic Adventure 2 battle race that's happening next, it is going to be on Speed Gaming 3. So if you would like to watch this Sonic Adventure 2 race, please make sure you tune in to twitch.tv/speedgaming3.